Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Boston Dota 2 Major. We're in the second day of group stage action, and it's only the first heat of the day, as we do have 4 simultaneous games happening at once. It's a chaotic spree of Dota, and if you're a Dota fan, you should be loving every moment of it. Here over on Dota Major 3, we have IG Vitality going against OG Dota, and, well, we're about to hop into game number 3. If you weren't around for game 1 and 2, game 1, convincing win by OG. It was an absolute stomp. But game number 2, IG certainly came to play. And now here we are, and wouldn't you believe it? It is a first pick Rubik yet again for IG Vitality to help me break down this, what feels like utter nonsense but seems to be working out, is none other than professional Dota analyst Draskell joining me remotely. How's it going, Andy?
You think I'm a professional? That's sweet. All right, we're into Dota now. Interestingly enough, Rubik is actually like the 5th most picked hero right now in the tournament. So he's gone from like no relevance to huge relevance. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, you know, we're seeing Ogre, we're seeing self-sufficient heroes like Timbersaw, we're seeing Juggernauts, all these heroes that don't really need a frontline hero. And speaking of Juggernaut, there he is again. So we talked about the premise of having self-sustaining cores in the second game that allowed IG to have this Rubik and Bounty Hunter just run around the map and pretty much do whatever the hell they wanted. Even the Tide Hunter joined in on the party. And it worked out very well because just the amount of map pressure that they were able to put out, and OG couldn't find a hero to kill. Like, even though they have this Ogre who's really hard to fight into and this Warlock that's really hard to fight into, they just avoided them and killed the mid player like a million times. And it's fine, because if you don't fight them, you don't have to worry about it. And since OG can't get any kills elsewhere because your cores are also damn tanky, it just worked out perfectly. So now OG are going back to the drawing board. They're coming in with a new plan. They go with the patented Shadow Demon Luna. I think we're going to see a bit of a different game here.
Yeah, absolutely. For IG, it does feel like a bit of a run back, but, you know, in their defense, Jug offers the cleaving potential to kind of deal with the heavy illusion-based kind of an army that's coming their way, so it just works out nicely. And as we were saying yesterday, Jug is just kind of that core hero that seems to be good in pretty much every damn draft because he has a little bit of everything to offer. But here moving forward, OG now giving some nods of respect as they ban out that Tide Hunter now. This comes after the Alchemist here, so we look to OG to kind of still be able to snag up something precious potentially for S4 in that off lane. I don't know if they want to go back to that very strong performance of the Clockwork in game 1. We saw Beastmaster in game number 2, so no axe this time. We'll have to see what's left for S4. If they
I think Clockwork's very unlikely. Again, we spoke about it in game 2. It's real bad against Rubik Jug lane. If Jug was mid last game, I suppose they could potentially field it, because they think that it'll probably just be Cicada Jug again, and then Paparazzi will play something else. If that happens, then sure, you can definitely get away with running the Clockwork. But until they know for sure where that Juggernaut's going, picking Clockwork into that could spark him to just go straight safe lane and then decide to pick something else. So yeah, they're going to go for the Slardar. A little bit of a safer option. Good against Jug. A powerful initiator, not having to worry about that Sand King or Ravage that we saw in game 2 that just completely destroyed poor No-Tail. Like, I feel so bad for him playing Ursa in that game. That had to have been a total nightmare. But yeah, it's a bit of a different change.
I wonder, is there anything stopping IGV from going back to something like the Warlock? We saw Warlock as a good potential counterpick from teams like Wings during TI against Shadow Demon-like lineups. I know Burning played the Warlock in game number 1 and then played the Rubik in game 2, which we already see here and now, but do you think there's still wiggle room for something like a Warlock, or do you think they'll consider some other options instead?
I think Warlock's pretty much always good, to be honest. I mean, the only time where it can be tricky to run is if you're getting like aggro laned and your aggro lane is like weaker than theirs, because then the Warlock doesn't really have a job. He can't, like, he can creep stack, I guess, but then you're just sacrificing a carry and whatnot. So until we know for sure, you know, what OG are planning to do, I guess there is always the possibility for an aggro lane coming in from them just because they have Slardar, and that hero is really good in aggro try. But nope, they're just gonna pick the same exact freaking heroes in the same order they did in the first game. Same, literal same heroes. I mean,
that's
obviously
just how Q is, though. I mean, at least back to his CDEC days, if you gave CDC a particular hero that they were just working, they would just take it. Like, they would just take that gyro, that PL, whatever seemed to be working at the time, they would just go for it. So hard to gauge whether Q is just like, you know, oh, we got it, it worked before, we'll just get it while they give it to us, or if he generally feels our last lineup is just as good against this lineup, or if he's trying to mind game it, whatever the case be. Looking like a run back here for IGV, so we'll have to see OG if they want to kind of change things up or whatnot. But 4 positions, Jarrek's options. Ogre again is there, but in my heart, I want Earth Spirit to show up. I don't know how formidable he can be.
There it is.
I guess he's pretty formidable. Jarrek's is a god on Earth Spirit. I mean, I am a big fan. I don't care if people think that's disgusting. They used to think it's more disgusting when the hero was OP, but without question, he is the best player of this hero. He played him when he was first mega OP, when his pull was the stun and the kick was the silence. He would make notorious. He didn't make YouTube videos, but people made videos just based on his play, and he's continued to be a staple on the hero. So no matter how much they tweak the numbers of this hero, Jarrek's will make it look like a relevant, strong option.
Yeah, it's really solid because they needed something to help control the tempo of the lanes. Like, both teams have the one support that kind of just stands around the Rubik and the Shadow Demon, respectively, and now they needed somebody else who was going to be able to emphasize being able to apply some sort of map pressure. It looks like IGV are going to take a bit of a page out of OG's book here and pick up the Beastmaster. Solid option, good vision control. The way that IG played game 1, where they were moving around a lot and finding successful rotations between Bounty Hunter and Beast, you're going to have a ton of vision, like a ton. And getting caught out of position it's going to be tricky for OG, I think, to find the proper engagements against these types of heroes. But at the same time, they still have the illusion push potential. They have a good initiator in the Slardar. And like you mentioned, Jarrek's on one of his signature, if not his signature hero. I'm just a bit curious as to what they're...
I was going to say a very bold call for IG here in Tinker. Do you think a Tinker could work? Beastmaster, Bounty Hunter got tracked for the Rockets, Beastmaster obviously for the rotation power. Maybe you need some D-push. The only thing I would fear is that means they would have to probably put the Tinker maybe in the mid lane, obviously, but then Earth Spirit can roam on him, and Earth Spirit could just beat the shit out of Tinker, I guess. So that may have answered my own question, but that was the first thing that may have popped out to me.
Tinker is actually still not bad, though, all things considered. When you have so much vision, like you have track to play off of, it's good for Rockets, Beastmaster, Hawk, you can just TP all over the place. That's one thing about the combination that makes it really strong, is that you don't actually need a creep wave, you just need the Beastmaster to be there. And that means that you'll always be able to contribute to any engagement. And it is actually still kind of annoying for them to do anything about a Tinker, because they don't have a lot of catch until Slardar gets Blink. And they don't have any natural Tinker counters. The only problem I see with it is, besides the Earth Spirit being able to kill him relatively easy, you run the risk of getting counter-picked in the mid when you have to pick something like a Tinker first. So, like, OG had last pick. So that means that they'll get to pick something that they can kill with against the Tinker, instead of just having a normal matchup where you might not, be as scared.
That's true. That's true. So
I still think it's okay, though.
Yeah. But I would definitely agree with the notion there at the end that you never want to... I would feel like you wouldn't want to pick a Tinker and then just hope that they don't pick someone that beats the hell out of it in mid lane. We want to pick the Tinker after already knowing what you're going to be going against. But there's not a lot of mid lane options you can go for that just kind of... You'll know that you kind of will be able to get the upper hand. Yeah, sure, OD, who is a god amongst men, might be one of those few options. But outside of that, I mean...
Well, that's kind of the cool thing about IG, is the fact that Juggernaut is a capable mid in his own right. If they pick something that they feel like can't go mid against whatever OG last pick, they just switch the lanes. And they say, okay, Juggle, just go mid. And even if he doesn't get like free farm like he did in the previous game, he can still spin out creep waves. He's still hard to gank. There's flexibility in what IGV have in this draft. So we'll see what they do.
They have certainly a ridiculous amount of map control, as mentioned, between the Beastmaster and the Bounty Hunter. They have potential to build up lots of track gold and a huge economy. And then obviously a little bit of scaling with the Jug, but they want to kind of balance that as much as possible. And it looks like they'll opt for the Invoker, so it doesn't leave them too much flexibility in switching over and allowing that Jug to get to the mid lane. At least that would be very unorthodox if that was the case. So now OG are in a situation where they can see potentially the matchup they would want to have for Ana. What is some of the best things you may want to go for here? Obviously, Odie's already out, but any other Ana staples outside of Timbersaw?
I mean, a lot of his heroes are gone. Like, a lot of them. I mean, if it was another team, I would say they would pick, like, PA or something. But I don't know if OG do that.
He's done Dragon Knight before. Dragon Knight's been done. But yeah, I mean, DK is picked a couple of times I'm seeing here. He's played a...
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, there it is, DK. I mean, unfortunately, that says to me his hero pool is obviously pretty small to Rascal. If I'm like, okay, well, that's an Invoker, that's Timber, and there's one DK in here somewhere, or at least two of them, and then they just pick it. Makes me like, the pool's a bit shallow, but let's see if it works, nonetheless. So, what do you think about the formality of DK here?
It should be really hard to kill him. That's the one thing. Because Bounty Hunter excels in being able to... Like, he pressured mid last game by just auto-attacking an Invoker, which is a hero who naturally doesn't have a lot of defense, especially Exort. So, if you're going to freaking attack a DK, he's going to have 1,000,000 armor, 1,000,000 regen. You're going to need 3 heroes minimum to kill him if he's like level 3 or 4. So I think that maybe the Bounty Hunter has a little bit of a harder time doing stuff, but I thought he was going to struggle in game 2 and he didn't. So if Q manages to pull out the kind of early game he had before, it's going to be a bit rough. But OG this time I think have a much more well-rounded draft, and they don't have to play into that Tidehunter with a solo melee core. That was awful. Like, that actually ended up being so bad.
Definitely was. Looks like we'll get underway, folks. It's our final game here, game number 3 of this Heat number 1 day 2 group stage action for the Boston Major. And if we're talking early game, though, and wanting to have Q succeed, I mean, early game, I'm watching Jerix, and I'm sure he's got to feel a little bit happy. Of all the potential mid laners you want to be ganking as an Earth Spirit, Invoker's a nice option to have. He doesn't have any sort of easy escape mechanism, and Jerix will be able to easily, if he can, the big thing is you got to be able to connect with the Rolling Boulder, but if you connect with that, it should lead to some strong success. So either the Invoker's going to have to be on edge, or yeah, Q's going to have to be hanging around. Someone's going to have to be hanging around Rubik or something, just to make sure that the pressure's not going to be totally on.
I think that's the one big difference, actually, between the Invoker and the Tinker mid, and why they probably went with Invoker is Cold Snap under tower can still get counter kills. That's the one thing.
That's true.
So sometimes, you know, yeah, Laser Rocket Tinker can deal some big damage, but he doesn't offer any control. Whereas Cold Snap, at the very least, should be able to secure a kill if OG overcommit. I think that's the one big difference. Also, Ice Wall, that's an ability. That ability is real good against melee heroes.
For a long time was quite the underrated ability too. So definitely seeing a lot of airtime now from Invokers and showing why it's very justified. And with dives like Earth Spirit makes under towers and stuff, it could be a good opportunity to, as mentioned, spit out a Cold Snap or Ice Wall and get some return fire themselves. Jerix has also been known to do a bit of those mid lane pull shenanigans that you can do with the creep camps. It doesn't, I don't know, it looks like he may be doing it this time too. I'm not sure. He's hanging around that area. He could be just looking to set up a roll early on, but we will have to keep an eye out to see if he tries to manipulate the mid lane creep waves at all.
I think if you can do it, it's always valuable, but he is the roaming hero on the team, and he needs to make sure that he's not letting like somebody free farm the woods right now, which, you know, in July, he started Iron Talon, he's just jungling straight up, so realizing that, you know, they don't see the Beastmaster on the map, and Q is just sitting bottom, he decides that the best use of his time is to make sure that Beastmaster does not farm, because he farms the jungle with the best of them.
Lots of consumables though for Jerix here. You know, ideally when you're in a roaming Earth Spirit kind of a game, you'd love to have at least like an Orb of Venom, maybe Boots of Travel or something. Jerix will have to roll out from here or not. I mean, I was gonna say roll out from here, but you gotta be careful not to get body blocked. And in a position like that, I wouldn't trust Dota entirely. It could count like a Beastmaster to the side of you as in front of you, so he just goes for the safer option, TP's away. But he's there to just be an annoyance.
Yeah, I'm not okay with the frog pathing sometimes.
Yeah,
oh, top lane.
Oh,
S4.
yeah, he's eating a Blade Fury and a couple of right clicks here from Burning, but not enough to get the finish yet. S4 creeps all the way up through the trees and then will make the safe play and TP's back home. But ever under a bit of heavy harassment already. Him and Ana. Ana Sunstrike. Okay, good move forward. He must have saw Sakata looking to go for the cast and was able to adjust.
He's doing all right. I guess he's got his bottle now. He still has the extra salve on him. The DK versus Invoker matchup is actually not so bad for DK because you can pretty much tank creeps under the tower forever. And a lot of the time, you know, the Invoker, he's going to want to try to push the lane in a bit just so he's not like under as much pressure of being ganked by like the Earth Spirit, for example. So yeah, it should be all right, I think, for both teams in the laning phase. My big curiosity is giving the early 6 to the Bounty Hunter. Like, how much is this going to do? Because right now, OG, they can't really stop.
There it is. Roll in the mid lane. Sakata gets kicked back. They need a few more right clicks here to get it done. And it looks like they may not be able to unless Breathe Fire in 4 seconds or one more boulder smash. Rolling boulder. He's not able to sidestep it, and they'll get it done. Woo! Caused a little bit of a commitment. No rotations will come out for assistance. A bit too precious in the laning stage right now, but they'll get their kill. And, you know, not to keep harping on Earth Spirit, but he's one of the few heroes I feel like I'm okay talking about. It's like one of those things Jarex is comfortable doing is he rolled in with Rolling Boulder, and then instead of just kicking a stone to stun him right there in his spot, he feels comfortable enough to line up the kick and just kick him straight back, you know, towards the Radiant Tower. And that will get them a few more auto attacks in for sure. So could have made the difference, could have not, but nonetheless, they get their kill.
Yeah, he's min-maxing for sure. And in the meantime, Q also died in the bottom lane, so it wasn't just one kill for OG there, it was 2 in quick succession. Looks like we're going to be seeing a return to the middle lane here from Jarex. He's almost level 3, going to be helping out with the bottle as well. I guess the big thing, again, is just July free farming the woods. Like, he's going to hit 6 very, very quickly. That's going to be a huge thing for them. So Jarex is kind of heavily pressured in this scenario, right? He needs to do a lot. He needs to stop the Beastmaster from farming and or kill mid, both at the same time. And that's not an easy thing to do.
It's not. Beastmaster is one of the best junglers in the game, really. And any moment that you're kind of deterred and going off and making a gank happen, he's going to quickly skyrocket 2 or 3 levels. And now you feel incredibly irrelevant next to him. And can't really offer a whole lot, especially with boars are out. So Jarex will need to kind of avoid that front, and he's just trying instead to leech some XP where possible. He actually rolls right on past in July here, and Fly with a haste rune just wildly shows up. He times out the boulder smash, and they will be able to secure the kill. A takedown on the Beastmaster, very nice, but look who looks to come in from the front. Sakata with the cold snap. Q is nearby. Q makes his commitment. Jarex, though, has the roll and will be able to make it to the low ground and out from trouble.
Yeah, very nicely done there. Fortuitous haster, and I don't think they get that kill without it.
You know, S4's on their team. So.
Yeah, dude, the haster, the dream. Yeah, that is actually kind of a huge bummer for Injuly. Does force a bit of a rotation out from the bounty, though.
Okay, pull up and over, smash, will hit him. Slows him down a bit. Ana, again, will be able to sidestep that stun strike. Very nice. And, I mean, that's what you get when you play a lot of Invoker yourself. But yeah, salve will be wasted. He's got Dragon's Blood.
That's also
a salve. That's a salve. And he'll just heal on up. But good start for OG, 3-0, and Fly will take his business all the way back to that bottom lane. And also in July came to that bottom lane. He came for that moment, but now back to the jungle he goes. Got to get that level 6. Got to get that Primal Roar.
And it's gonna have it. I would say, what, 2 more camps? Something like that? Yeah, he should have it very soon. I guess you probably just want to go safe lane and try to kill either No-Tail or Fly. There is an Eclipse, but I think between the Bounty Hunter Shuriken and a well-placed Roar, they should be able to get that kill.
Well, not looking to make any commitments yet at this moment. Q gets back into the lane here and then sports his own level 5. No-Tail has Eclipse up now, obviously no mana, or at least didn't have mana at that moment. Will not pull the trigger, obviously, on any sort of precious little bounty hunter. While up and over and beyond, towards this mid lane, we have a gank involving S4 now, as him and Jarex both smoke up, waiting to see who could show themselves in this mid lane. Invoker around, but he had been moving into the jungle to find the farm there. Burning shows himself behind the tower, and Fly immediately goes for the strike. The disruption leads to an easy rolling boulder, which leads to the kill. No-Tail also getting involved in this one. It looks like we could see a 5-man movement here. A follow-up on his Sakata with the help of the Eclipse. One more nuke will do it, and it's a double kill for No-Tail. Huge success already in the early laning stage. Back in mid lane, they're trying to get the jump on for Ana. They will get that kill. And as the Omni Slash comes out, they'll wait for his return. Paparazzi going to be bullied down. IGV continue to crumble a little bit here as they lose, what, 4 all day? Something like that, 3 or 4?
Yeah, I think it was 4 at the end. But, yeah, they commit to Omni Slash. I mean, sure, they get the kill on the DK, but I don't think it's worth losing Paparazzi so early on, especially since no one is really contesting him. It's really nice to be able to get to just one item on Juggernaut and then start contributing to fights, but I guess they're feeling the pressure because, you know, Sakata's freaking level 5 and Anna's level 7. So they've been doing a very good job at stopping this middle lane from doing anything. I feel like, honestly, Invoker has been not great this whole series. Like, every single game I see in Invoker, he's just getting, like, crushed in lane. And he's requiring way too much assistance from his teammates to be able to function.
Yeah, I mean, we could give part of that credit to just the early aggression of OG. I mean, Earth Spirit being in the game and just missing off the map will definitely make you hesitant in that mid lane a bit. Especially when the kills start coming, then you really start to be hesitant and second guessing, and then you just look flat out elsewhere for options and farm, and that's when you really start to get behind. Fly able to do some good work, takes out a nice ward. IG had tried to plant a bit on the offensive side to give him a little bit more intel. That will be taken away. But it's level 6 time here. We got Track online now. We got Primal Roar online now. This should be a big power peak for IGV to make some kills happen and bring in some track money and try to even this game back up. We'll have to see if they can do it here. Scan does come out there from OG, but it's only towards the mid lane. But no action yet.
I think IGV they're okay with not finding kills right away, but at some point they want to really try to abuse track to get themselves back in it. They know that Clips has been down for a little while.
Oh god, Bernie's running! Can't get close enough for the telekinesis though.
Even with track speed, Luna's fast, you know? It's got that cat, man. But yeah, it would have been nice if they could have gotten the kill. The problem is with Fly standing behind No Tail all the time, is that your Roar Sunstrike combo is pretty much never going to land unless you wait for the disruption, I guess. You could try to like next level it and see if you can hit it that way. But I mean, being able to pressure the tier 1 and potentially get the tower with the help of Paparazzi or TP bottom should be enough. They're gonna eventually just go for the tier 1 for tier 1 trade.
The classic, as we see in Dota 2.
No one defends their safe lane towers, man. They freaking hate their safe lanes. Let that thing die.
They're like, you know what? It's gonna happen eventually. Just take it, but promise me that I can take yours too. Is that cool? Okay, great. And it's just been a mutual agreement ever since. But this opens up the jungle for both teams. I would give the advantage to OG. They actually already have had some pretty deep wards here planted in the IG jungle. So now with this tower going down, pretty much the top lane is open to them to be able to kind of take the farm or at least scavenge through. And with the way they're drawing on the map, that could be something they look to go for here. But actually, Jarek's all the way to the bottom lane. This comes after IGB take their own tier 1 in the bottom. They're still pushing forward here. I mean, you got Beastmaster, so you got to feel pretty good that you can push pretty fast. Let's see if OG can come back to respond, though.
I think they want Jarek to level 6 before they fight. Like, fighting in the healing ward without magnetize or anything to like equalize that amount of damage that's being healed up, it's really difficult. So he's trying to just pull the creep wave off the tower, buy time. The tower will probably eventually drop, considering they haven't TP'd too much back. Okay, there's one more. Looks like No Tails TP and S4 walking and it'll be enough to scare the rest of IGV off. But yeah, they really need 6 on this Earth Spirit. I think the Tome, did he just buy it? I think it's going back to base for the Tome. There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
So when he hits 6, they might go for a smoke or something and try to fight around the Eclipse and the Magnetize together. That's a really strong power spike. The next one is obviously S4 getting the blink.
Yeah. And then there's that level 6. Magnetize online. And a good time to fight if you are OG. But same big ultimate's also available on the side of IG for this one here. So we'll just have to wait to see what is going to be the trigger point. S4 flexing some muscles here in the mid lane as he dishes out the amp damage. Not a friend of Bounty Hunter, but Bounty Hunter is going to be able to complete out what looks like his arcane boots. So he'll grab that up. So now the track is really costs nothing at all, and he should be able to continually get out that bit of intel across the team and and that opportunity to bring in the money. Paparazzi farming through some ancient camps. Already has his Blade of Alacrity here. Any particular build you'd like to see coming out for the Jug in this particular game? Is this a trusty build into a Yasha for the farm? I think it was it last game we saw the Jug go Diffusal first.
It'll be this. No, I thought it was going to be the same, but he actually is going for the Yasha. I was going to say Diffusal's pretty good against their team. Gets rid of the silence from the Earth Spirit, gets rid of the amplified damage
and it's magnetized too. Yeah, but opting for the move speed, farm speed, this go around. Now they smoked up, they head all the way to the bottom lane. Ana is nearby. Q is able to scout him out, but that game sense is he is waiting way back behind the tower. Very hesitant to show himself in the lane as Injalai confidently moves on forward. OG, I don't know, looks to be sacking this tier 2 altogether. Happy to kind of just play the farm game for now.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
I mean, if you're going for the Yasha build on Paparazzi, you do kind of want to farm a bit more. Yasha is great for mobility inside of team fights, but first and foremost, it is a great farming item. The mobility, get from camp to camp faster, get that attack speed, the damage. I kind of assume he's going to go the Manta Diffusal build this game, because it's just really freaking good, and having multiple ways of dispelling yourself against OG is great.
Yeah,
but I think that farming is like... So you're farming until the Slardar gets a Blink Dagger, and then once the Slardar has a Blink Dagger, you're relying on mainly your vision control to stop that hero from being able to get anything done. They are going to go for a very early Roshan. They got the book 1. I don't think that OG... they are going to smoke. Maybe they are privy to this.
Yeah, they just got the armlet, and maybe that was it. They were like, okay, armlet, let's go. So, we'll see what kind of setup they have. All the ultimates are up now.
No, it's already dead. Like, it's actually just dead.
Push is gone. Okay, well, there's that. Alacrity and company with Beastmaster really makes it no work at all. OG, though, still heading that way, looking to see if they catch anyone on the way up. It's in July, heading towards the top of the staircase, but they'll just take out the ward just as fast as it was planted, and knowing they want to chase in July any further, because easily at risk of jumping into an IGV trap. So, separation as they go, and IGV will claim the Aegis. Is this a farming Aegis, you think, on their side? Or is it, wait it out a bit, last 2 minutes, let's try to finish out the tier 2s mid and or top?
I mean, I think that they do want to fight. I don't think that delaying the game is necessarily going to be great for them. Like, DK scales alright, Luna scales phenomenally. You have the Shadow Demon illusions to deal with during a late game. You don't have the best wave clear either. Oh god, that Beastmaster. Just ate a freaking solo clips to the face. Manages to walk away. But yeah, I do think the IGV want to fight.
Oh, they want to make something happen here on the bottom. No-Tail was able to TP away, but Fly is spotted and now gets hit with the slow. The track move speed is there. Sunstrike will get the last finish. Sakata picks that one up, and track money in the pocket for them. Swing and a miss on the stun, but connecting with the silence. Q has to run. Jerix has 3 stones to refresh this ulti. Should be able to do it. Oh, yeah, this is the boldest match. One more stone, though. That should be the kill. And they'll keep following to get the XP. So at least a 2-for-1 trade at the end of the day for OG.
Radiant's top tower.
Yeah, Earth Spirit, man. Still a pretty good hero, turns out.
Yeah.
It's just
Magnetize
crazy.
is good if you're able to, if you have plenty of stones, then you can extend its duration. It's ridiculous, but anything can take it off now. It's too early in the game to have anything to take it off, but Mules, Lotus Orb, Diffusal. Later game is when Magnetize feels kind of like a tickle aura, I guess.
It does fall off very quickly, but I mean, he's more or less done his job already. Like, having the early game rotations, being successful, creating space, like, now anything else he gets done is just icing on the cake. The rest of the heroes on his team are starting to come online. We see the Blink Dagger for S4 now. They're not so reliant on him having that crazy influence, which, a couple of well-placed boulder smashes in a fight is still good. A well-placed silence.
The utility's there, but the next time he gets to have fun in a game like this is not.
We're talking about next game.
Next game, you get you get Agnum Scepter. That's when you have fun on an Earth Spirit.
Okay, true.
You can get Blink Dagger, Agnum Scepter, and Jerix is one of the players that would do that. The jump in the base, stone someone, kick them out from the base, and now you're away from your team and your family and everything you love. Yeah, that's when things get fun, but rarely nowadays you'll get to a late enough game to see stuff like that. But who knows? It's Dota after all. 8-2 now. It's still advantage for OG as we approach the 16-minute mark. And IGV still with that Aegis in the pocket of Paparazzi here. Looking to utilize its strength to kind of at least get some more money in the pocket. Tier 1 top lane's got to go, and there will be no defense from OG to stop him.
Yeah, it makes sense. You don't want to fight into this. You really want Paparazzi's Aegis to disappear before you even try to go for a fight. The other thing too is they commit a Dragon farm. So unless OG are TPing back like immediately, okay, they already have a couple of people there. Looks like No Tail's going to be in front. But yeah, they need to be very careful because he pops the DD as well. He might be
Rotations from both sides here. Ana caught up in arms now with Paparazzi, but then S4 makes his own jump in. Beautiful set of stuns comes out. Jarex commits the Magnetize, but they already had died, so it's not going to catch on to anyone there, and he'll just eat the Omni Slash and get shredded apart. And over on the other side, they were able to take down the Invoker, so it turns into a 2-for-2 trade at the end of the day. We'll look at the fight recap to get all the full numbers there, but it looks like an advantage slightly for IGV, probably due to track money.
Yeah, it's all track hold. It's the whole reason. Because it's pretty much the same, well, not the same positions, but relatively equal in regards to what heroes died, because it's a mid for a mid and then an off lane for a support. So sure, the Beastmaster in July has a bit of an inflated net worth versus the Earth Spirit, but that doesn't matter because track's an ability. So I think IGV are still going to be alright with that whole exchange. They did pop a DD and commit a Dragon form to the push as well. And they did manage to utilize the Aegis. Paparazzi actually got it popped off before he before it faded, so all things considered, I think that the IG got what they wanted out of that.
And now they can comfortably move back and get back into work with the farm here. Manta now done on Paparazzi, and still holds that one blade of Alacrity, so we foresee that becoming a diffusal, I'd imagine. And then his damage begins to really ramp up here. I also saw another item pickup. I believe it was the Blink Dagger. Yeah, Blink Dagger onto Ana for his DK. So Blink and Armlet now. You get that insta-lockdown, insta-stun initiation. Pretty damn viable tool here. We'll have to see if OG wants to put it to work right away or not. But nonetheless, does add a lot to Dragon Knight's mobility.
Yeah, it's great for when you're pushing, because if, you know, a lot of times people will rotate 1 or 2 heroes back to defend a tower, similar to what OG did when IGV were pushing as 5. And when you have the Blink DK, those first few heroes that rotate in, if they're out of position, you just blank in and get a donk. You get the Dragon Tail and they're just dead. And most of the time, the enemy team won't be fast enough if they haven't already started TPing.
Smoke movement here from IGV as they head right towards the top part of this mid lane, and Arcane Rune is going to get snagged up. Oh boy. And then they roll on in. Huge boulder smash onto 3, a roll in 2, and with the jump in from Ana, they look to shred them apart. Magnetize also going to get big connection on that one. Paparazzi to go down, and they already hit up Q with that Magnetize. That could connect and reset the cooldown, and it will. He's going to be set to burn apart, and it's quickly a 4-man takedown from OG just like that. S4 getting the double kill there at the end, but my goodness, OG have opened it up. They saw... How did they see that movement going up into the Ancient camp right there to kind of set the whole thing up?
The smoke broke because there was a defensive disruption on the Luna, but it still counts as your hero existing there. So they saw burning straight away. And because they saw burning and they had high ground vision, because for whatever reason, defensive disruption doesn't take away vision, they saw it, and he just got a boulder smash on 2 heroes. Ana instantly blinks in, Dragon Tails another, and then they're just dead. Like, that's it. The fight's already over at that point. You can't recover from that bad of an initiation.
Choke point fighting is something that OG's lineup just really thrives on. Multi-man crushes, multi-man boulder smashes with grip, follow-ups. It's 3-man stun, 3-man silence, Magnetize on top of it, Eclipse, like... Yeah, I mean, IG obviously went into that thinking that they were going to be under the shadow, but unfortunately for them, spotted out leads to that kind of destruction. And now we see OG, even though the kill score, you know, if you're newer to Dota and you're looking at the kill score up and above and you're seeing 14-4 and you're thinking this is a lopsided game, this is just OG taking the net worth advantage back, and this puts them at about a 3K net worth advantage. So they're back in the game right now. I wouldn't say they're like way up and above and beyond. It's still anyone's game, but that is definitely the fight OG had needed to really, you know, make sure they still establish their own dominance.
Yeah, it was extremely fortunate because at first I thought that disruption was going to end up getting no-tail killed, because if there was no there's no defensive disruption, then you just get roared and die instantly. There's no save. But due to the smoke breaking and Jarek's with quick reaction along with Ana, they were able to turn it.
And now at mid lane here, pressure continues from IGB as they hope to get the finish, but it's continued disruption and Lunas and pushing out. It ain't gonna be easy. Double back into what looks like a smoke setup. Someone's got a smoke, right? Oh, it's in the stash of Jarek's, but no, okay, they do have one on hand. Now they're going on in. Smoked and popped. Q's nearby. S4 doesn't seem to care. They'll run right through it. And I guess
there's not much
the
else
only
you
one
can
who's
do, right?
popped.
You can use this for posturing, and you could potentially try to go for Roche because you have amp. They're gonna just amp the boar though, so they can see it.
Yep. And they'll be able to drop a ward here
play
at the
from
side
Q.
cup. Yep, he's hanging around bottom lane, and we'll be able to kind of be the blanket here for Burning, who's farming through the bottom. I believe last game he was able to farm up into a Blink Dagger, so possibly looking to do the same here on his Rubik. Still a lot of good stuff to steal in this one, so looking to be able to get in the best position possible to do so. Got to get out there fast though. Ana's en route. Okay, Ana blinks in, but Burning did not rush back, so he was able to TP out safely. So things are going to be stalled out a little bit longer here as Roche is up. I'm sure both teams will have their eyes on it here, but IG are going to be taking the first initiative, it looks like, all the way to this bottom lane. A good fight here could lead to a successful high ground push, maybe a buyback or so, and then they could always double back to that Roche and get it there.
Yeah, this is tricky. I think both teams recognize there's probably going to be an engagement before Roshan is allowed to happen.
Mm-hmm. Jarek's has a Blink Dagger now. Ooh. Quickly blink backing out as Q was making his approach. But they'll kind of stay their separate ways, it would appear. IG have been able to kind of take over the OG jungle, and it's very dark and scary. So OG are just going to keep their presence up here towards the mid lane and towards the
I think IG actually
pushed
pushed faster than OG. I'm actually almost certain they do. They're going to be forced back, yeah.
Alacrity and Beastmaster certainly can make an argument for that.
Dragon Tail?
Crush, nuke, and that's a quick and dead paparazzi jug. It looks like Jarek's was jumping in, but he gets quickly taken apart too. A 1-for-1 trade. Burning going to be going down. OG on the roll forward here, quickly claiming the lives of two, and they're not done yet.
That's a
Inzalai
gem.
goes down just as fast, man. With that ridiculous amplified damage, he really doesn't stand a chance. Ana claims a triple kill. Q here, one of the lone survivors along with Sakata, who was not even really involved. As he sent himself back up to the top lane, OG now recognized the opportunity to move into the pit and duke it out with Roche, where S4 obviously is going to help things out with the help of that amp damage. They should be able to take it out nice and fast.
Man, that crush landing was so unfortunate for Paparazzi. Like, if he gets spin off, there's no way he dies. But he got crushed because he wasn't expecting the blink in. And then there was another blink in the Dragon Tail. And when he was amped, like under the tower and no Manta style, he just had... There was no way he was getting out at that point. And Sakata just like instantly TP'd out. He's like, screw this. This fight's over. My Juggernaut's dead. I'm out. And that is definitely the right call in that situation. But yeah, Roche going the way of OG.
I mean, was it the right call to make from IGV? Just you know, they were rummaging through OG's woods, and then I don't know if they just kind of settled on the idea for pushing, but they decided,
pushing was
let's
correct.
just push.
Pushing was definitely correct because they push way faster than OG.
Yeah.
Like, way faster. So in that situation, you're forcing the enemy team to come to you, and that's what you want. You want OG to use all their teleport scrolls and go back to base, because then you can... oh yeah, that's a dead guy. But you can force them to move the way you want them to. That's always ideal in a Dota game. The problem was the execution of the push. Paparazzi getting caught out by a stun. That's what ended up being unfortunate for them, because they don't have any defensive measures for a blink stun, right? There's no glimmers, there's no force staffs or anything like that. It's just if you get stunned, you're dead. So that's just the nature of their lineup currently.
And S4 want to recognize and take advantage of those opportunities when opponents maybe just kind of, I don't know if they're shaking up for a moment or picking their nose for that moment, but he seems to find that window where he can jump in and make that kind of an impact here, and does it already in this game number 3 in July, hanging out near the side shop. And speaking of the devil, it's S4 who shows up with that crush, hit with a nuke and a couple of waves, and that is quick work by No Tail. Man, butterfly in hand, And, you know, obviously always in hand with Fly. If Fly ever gets off that Soul Catcher appropriately, like, this Luna just does utter destruction to anything in her wake.
Yeah, amp plus Soul Catcher? Ouch. That's big ouch. Doesn't matter how farmed you get, you can die with those two abilities on the other team. In the meantime, Paparazzi did expend his Omni Slash. He tried to go for a solo kill on a Jax. Jax just rolled away. Omni didn't follow. Pretty unfortunate. Now with no Omni, they're just diving the base.
Yes, they are. Ana way deep back and behind, looking to go for B-God himself. The Burning, the Emperor one is out. And with that, the Tier 3 set to fall too. Glyph is going to be committed here, but OG feeling pretty damn good about walking away from this best of 3 and towards the top seed. Sakata crushed. He's gone too. Going to be forced into buyback here on his Invoker. These racks are gone. And the game could quickly fold within itself because of it. Back at mid lane, Paparazzi frantic to try to split push a bit or cuff the creep camp, but it hasn't stopped OG. Tier 3 mid lane also going to be going down in this one, and could be it before you know it. Paparazzi, though, persistent, man. Does not want to double back. And it looks like OG are going to finish there, and IG recognize they have no opportunity to make it, and that will do it. GG is called, and OG will walk away with the win.
Man, even for minute 1, it seemed like OG just had it this game. You know, it's really weird to see a game that's 3 stomps in a row. It's like OG stomped, then IG stomped, then OG stomped again. It's really bizarre.